tears are all worn. I left them here, I could have sworn.
I want to go right
We've
now.
been grown up on Dave's Bar. And Roxy music. I mean, for me, watching Bowie do Starman on Top of the Pops was just
The cathartic moment of my
from
life.
then on, pop music was about theatre. It began strumming. Jesus rose from Jericho on his way to the cross. Left me standing so tall.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this extraordinary venue for what I hope will be a very entertaining evening. It's an evening of kind of investigation. It's an evening of some songs and some tunes and some insight, I hope, into what I think is an extraordinarily creative man. And I'd like to bring him now, Gary Kemp. We met in a club called Billy's, is that right?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Yeah, we met in a club
Soho.
in Soho, on the corner of Maynard Street and Dean Street. It was next to the Golden Girl Club, and believe me, those girls weren't very golden. Steve Dagger said to me, I want you to come down the Holloway Road on Saturday morning. I was a student, you didn't see Saturday mornings, but Steve insisted, because he said, Gary's got this band together, and I want you to come and see them. I remember I was harbouring at the hangover of all hangovers. I was dressed as a space pirate or some such confection. And I thought they better be good. And they were.
Heat upon a heat. To cut a long story short, I lost my mind. So for me, music and fashion and theatre had to be otherworldly. It couldn't be mundane. And even punk later on was never mundane. There was this amazing look. Everyone was making an effort on a shoestring, I have to say.
It was, we were all skin.
But it was crazy, and it was a mixture of fashion students and working class flash. I went home, we bought the synthesizer, and decided to rewrite everything. And dance music it had to be dance. And I think that's really what the sound of the 80s was. It was a combination of Chic and the Sex Pistols with the look of Bowie. I wanted to write a song that was a bit more funky, and a bit more of a groove song. And at that time, we used Beggar & Co. on the record, actually, to play horns, and no one had done anything like that. That kind of coming together of British soul and working and rock music had never, ever been kind of married. I mean, if you read The NME all through the 70s, you wouldn't know soul music existed. It had nothing, reggae was the only black music they would write about because it somehow said something political. But the trouble is with soul music, it was aspirational. I know this feeling isn't alive. I don't need this pressure on. 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 I don't need this pressure on. Don't need this pressure on. So a little insight in what it's like to hang out with your great rivals and then make a charity record. Flying out of Japan, there was only one thing we spoke about, and it wasn't being part of Bob's Band-Aid. We were to meet our opposition and spend an evening together with them. Tommy's Pop Show was a biannual event and huge in Germany. And if you got it, you did it. And this November, it was to be Spandau Ballet and Duran Duran. Given our great media-driven rivalry and similar origins, it was extraordinary that we hadn't met each other since the night we'd played Birmingham's Botanical Gardens and, on the floor of the promoter's flat, dismissed them.
So when you were writing those songs, and I think many of them are songs that, people will be remembered forever, did you think, these are good uns? Do you know when you've done, a big song?
Yeah, I think you do. I remember getting very excited. Lifeline, I thought was a very good song. I remember it would always be the same. My brother would be down in the kitchen or watching TV somewhere, and I'd shout down the stairs, come up, you know, and I'd play him a song acoustically and say, what do you think? He'd get his bass out and have a go along. I don't think we fully appreciated True until we were inside the recording studio and making it work. I know this much is true. I know this much is true. With a thrill in my head and a pill on my tongue, dissolve the nerves that have just begun. Listening to Marvin all night long. This is the sound of my soul. This is the sound.
Had a fabulous evening, very casual, very relaxed atmosphere, and really keen to hear some more stuff in this sort of auditorium in this style. So thank you.
Absolutely brilliant, up close and personal. There must have been less than 200 people here.
It's amazing.
It's a lovely venue.
Yeah,
Really nice.
it is absolutely amazing. It's so personal.
And so different.
Place. It's good acoustics, it's got that unplugged atmosphere about it, and I say the intimacy is great, and I think they should have more of a similar kind with various artists and musicians doing their bits of their life story in word and music.
You know, it's great to see our heroes up close and personal, and in a more casual atmosphere. So yeah, it'd be great to know what's going on next.